Thank you, Congressman Bishop, Dean of our Georgia delegation, for chairing today's special order hour, remembering First Lady Rosalynn Carter, a truly remarkable public servant, a wife, a parent, a grandparent, a friend, and humanitarian, and inspiration to countless people around the globe. Mrs. Carter's impact could be seen last week as thousands of people lined up to honor her in Plains, where she lived with her beloved husband, President Jimmy Carter, her husband of 77 years. And then in Americas, where she attended college, and Atlanta, where she co-founded the Carter Center with President Carter. I was one of those people who paid their respects at the Carter Center as she laid in repose. I'm honored to add to the tributes today on the floor of the House of Representatives. I'm very fortunate to have met First Lady Carter on many occasions, and every time that I met her, I was struck by her grace and her kindness and genuineness. Mrs. Carter embodied service and never stopped working to uplift marginalized communities. I was especially fortunate to partner with Mrs. Carter in that work as we uplifted care workers and an increase in investments to the care economy, which is so essential to everything in our lives. She founded the Rosalynn Carter Institute for Caregivers at Georgia Southwestern State University, her alma mater, which today supports 40 million caregivers across the country and will be an enduring living legacy of the former First Lady. Uplifting care workers was only one of the many issues for which Mrs. Carter was an advocate. Mrs. Carter wasn't afraid to advocate for issues long before it was easy or popular to do so. She was a champion for women's rights and one of the leading supporters of the Equal Rights Amendment. She spearheaded the Mental Health System Act of 1980 to end stigmas around mental illness. As First Lady and with the Carter Center, she strengthened democracy around the globe. And of course, who can forget the images of her and President Carter building homes with Habitat for Humanity for many, many decades? The spirit of service was genuine and a defining characteristic of Mrs. Carter's life. The spirit of service embodied by Rosalynn and Jimmy Carter inspired me and my husband Leslie to name our only son, Carter, in their honor. Every day we strive to ensure that Carter lives up to the spirit of his namesake. While delivering her eulogy, my friend Jason Carter, Mrs. Carter's grandson, said his grandmother's life was a sermon. It's true, and all great sermons compel us to act. Mrs. Carter showed us the power of action while using every opportunity given to us. If the House of Representatives uses our opportunity to act every day to improve the lives of our constituents, we will truly have taken the sermon of Rosalynn Carter's life to heart while honoring her in the best way possible. Thank you, Mr. Dean of our delegation, for honoring Mrs. Carter today and hosting the special order hour, and I yield back.